Thank you, Jen. Good morning. On July 28th, 2020, members of the Toronto Police Gun and Gang Task Force, with the assistance of the Emergency Task Force, executed a criminal code search warrant for firearm possession at 132 Spofford Drive in York Region. Upon the execution of the search warrant, several occupants were located. In total, 5 people have been arrested and charged in connection with the warrant executed by the Gun and Gang Task Force. They're now facing numerous firearm and drug-related offenses. Seized at the location was a loaded Taurus .40 caliber handgun, 14 rounds of ammunition, 2 overcapacity magazines, approximately 1 ounce of cocaine, and $6,000 in proceeds. The people that were arrested, the first one was Jamal Palmer, born in 1986. Jamal had a previous conviction for possession of a firearm. The second arrested person, Skylar Wilson, born in 1992, with no criminal record. And the third is Pamela Boampong, a female, born in 1990, also with no criminal record. Also charged with the firearm and drug offenses was Tequan Robertson. In addition to the charges laid in relation to the search warrant yesterday, Tequan was also wanted for attempt murder ×2, aggravated assault ×2, conspiracy to commit murder ×2, discharge firearms ×2, and unauthorized possession of a firearm and motor vehicle. These charges date back to 2018, and I'll give a brief rundown of what that incident was about. In June 14, 2018, 3 accused, one of them being Tequan Robertson, arrived in a motor vehicle in the area of 10 Alton Towers Circle in the city of Toronto. The area of 10 Alton Towers Circle is a townhouse complex, and there's a children's playground and basketball court. At the time of the incident, there was in excess of 12 children playing in the playground. The 3 gentlemen pulled up. 2 of them exited the vehicle, one of which being Tequan Robertson, and they confronted a 4th male that was in the area, and they discharged their firearm at least 10 times towards this male. As a result of the discharge of the firearms, 2 children, ages 5 and 9, were struck by gunfire. Tequan Robertson and his associates fled the scene. Both children were rushed to hospital where they underwent surgery. There's been quite a consistent manhunt by many of the units of the Toronto Police Service and across the province with our partners to locate Mr. Robertson, and yesterday he was arrested at a search warrant and charged with these offenses. He also has outstanding warrants in Peterborough in relation to drugs and in Durham region in relation to a firearm. And the 5th person located at the residence yesterday was Alexander Fountain, born in 1991. Mr. Fountain has numerous firearm convictions, and in addition to the charges in relation to the firearm and drugs yesterday, Alexander Fountain is also facing first-degree murder charges and attempt murder charges. And a brief overview of that investigation is on Saturday, the 15th of April, 2017, multiple 911 calls were received by the Toronto Police Service relating to the sound of gunshots. These calls indicated that multiple gunshots were heard coming from a parking lot of 160 Chesterley Boulevard in Scarborough. The victim, Samatar Farah, resided in the neighborhood of Chesterley and was located in the daylight hours, suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. Video surveillance initially captured images of 2 alleged gunmen who arrived at Chesterley and lay in wait for the victim to come from his residence. Both suspects discharged a firearm at Mr. Farah. 2 suspects were identified as being the alleged gunmen on the night Farah was killed. The suspects were identified as Tawfiq Stanley and Alexander Fountain. Stanley was previously arrested and his trial is scheduled for November of 2020. That's the overview of that investigation. Now I'll take any questions.
Are there any questions? Hello, are there any questions?
I do have a question. Sorry. I'm just wondering, so the search warrant that was executed in York Region, is there any information on how that location was obtained, or why the search warrant was executed? Was it just a result of ongoing investigations, or was there a tip?
Ongoing investigation by members of the Gun and Gang Task Force. At this point, I'm not going to get into too many details about that because it was just yesterday we executed the search warrant, and there's many pieces of the investigation that are still being put together.
And I guess my follow-up to that would be, with these arrests, are police confident that all the members involved in this have been arrested, or is there still potential suspects in terms of perhaps an extended organization? Or
as far as the shooting in Alton Towers, is that to which you're referring? So I'll answer that. If it's in relation to the investigation of the possession of firearms and drugs yesterday, we believe that there are no outstanding suspects. If it's in relation to the homicide, both of the people wanted for that homicide have now been arrested. And in relation to Alton Towers, there were 3 suspects involved. The two other suspects were arrested in 2018.
Thank you, Jake from the Canadian Press. Do you have any further follow-up questions?
No, that's great. Thanks so much, guys.
Patrick White from the Globe and Mail. Patrick White from the Globe and Mail. What is your question?
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. What was there any involvement from the BOLO program that we heard about last year in this arrest?
At this point, I don't believe that the information came in through Crime Stoppers or through the BOLO program. We are still putting together information that has come in previously to see if it does relate to what we found yesterday. But at this point, I don't see any nexus from a direct tip.
Patrick, do you have any further? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, just as a follow-up, do you have any sense did you have a sense of where Mr. Robertson was over the past couple of years? Was he moving from location to location? Can you say anything about his whereabouts for the last 2 years?
I can't comment on that because of potential criminal charges of those that may have assisted Mr. Robertson. So unfortunately, at this point, I can't comment on that.
Any further follow-up questions? Thank you. That concludes today's news conference. A news release will be published shortly.